Hello guys, and welcome to the Redundancy Reset. This is the first time that we've done such a thing, and actually it's quite exciting because I'm not aware of any program before which has combined teaching partly live through this kind of medium and then the rest being picked up digitally. So I don't know if you've all downloaded the app yet and had a little look, but if not, then definitely try and do that during this evening's chat. So go to the App Store and, well, actually don't even ask me how to do it because you've got a special privilege with your ID. So you should have had instructions, and I try and stay out of all of that tech stuff. And so I just want to make myself available because obviously you can see me. I can't see you. Normally when I'm teaching, I do have that privilege and it helps me quite a lot. So what would be really, really wonderful is if you guys could maybe say hello and maybe give an idea of what brings you along and whether you've meditated before, just so I can get a bit of a flavor of where you guys are at and can slightly tailor the teachings accordingly. And also I just want us to break the ice a little bit, make sure that you feel confident in asking questions, in saying hello. So certainly on my computer in the bottom right hand corner, there is a little box that says say something. So I'm just going to say hello to you all there. And we're expecting a few more people to drift in. So, so we've got Ali Jane. Meditation not usually your strong point. Excellent. Okay, well, I think you've come to the right place. Are you able to give a little bit more of a description there? Why is it not usually your strong point? And we've got Jess Vieira. You did the course 4 years ago, but you've lost touch with it a little bit and you want to get back into it, of course. Pleasure to get you back rolling. Hello, Louise. First time trying this, then I feel very honored, and I'm looking forward to helping you pop your meditative cherry, as it were. So that's very, very exciting. And Maggie just wants to know more about all of this. And I'm very, very happy that you've joined us because it's, if you've not had experience of it before, you tend to have these ideas about meditation, what it is, how you do it, and the types of people who might do it. And actually, it's for everyone. It's people are always amazed by what it can actually do for you, and it will impact every area of your life. And we'll get you going as best we can with our program. And of course, just ask any and all questions you need to ask to get the clarifications that you need. Ali Jane, you get really fidgety and bored. Aha, interesting. Well, this does tend to be a lot easier than most other practices. So I'm hopeful that you won't be too fidgety and too bored. But if you should find that happening a little bit, any of you, don't worry about it. We'll talk about that after we've done a little meditation. So if you want to come back to me after we've done a meditation, Ali Jane, let us know how you got on. And we should pick up on that again. Joe joined us over lockdown on Instagram and found it really helpful. Hello, Joe. And Merrily Ross, general stress. And you've heard nice things about us. That's very, very nice to hear. And we got someone from Canada as well. First time as well. Very curious to know which part of Canada. It's a big old country. And I'm a big fan of Canada for so many different reasons. And we have C. Anderson. Wants to incorporate meditation into your daily life for general well-being. Yes, this is the thing. Meditation does so much for you, but it's definitely something that wants to be a regular thing as opposed to treating it like a once-a-week yoga class. Once a week isn't going to do that much for you, but if you can integrate it into your daily life, then you will actually have the capability to start rewiring your brain in a more powerful way. And of course, this is themed the Redundancy Reset. And the reset part is very important because modern life is taking its toll. Even pre-lockdown, it was taking a crazy amount of toll. Obviously, since then, it's gone a little bit bonkers. So, yeah, this will be wonderful for you. Nadine is generally stressed and you don't know how to switch off. So this is a really important point, Nadine. The meditation will help you switch off, but all of you, if you can try and remember, don't try and switch off in the meditation. I will talk to you more about that, but the meditation will take you wherever it takes you. And you might feel very acutely aware of certain things that you're hoping to let go of as a result of the meditation, but that's the key point. As a result of the meditation, it will start to loosen up. During the meditation, you might not notice any difference whatsoever. So even though that's your hope and expectation, Nadine, and it's a fair one, don't try and make it happen in the meditation. This isn't one of those yoga classes where you got to try and clear your mind of all thoughts. That's really difficult, actually. Most yoga teachers can't do that either. And it just creates a lot of stress, actually, trying to make that happen. Morgan, you've been doing breath-based meditation for 5 years, and you're here after experiencing long-term COVID symptoms. I'm sorry to hear that. And I'm glad you enjoyed the Instagram meditations. That's really, really cool. Well, let's get you up and running. This is an easier thing to do than breathing meditation for sure. Haley was recommended by a friend, and struggling to stay calm in the midst of so much stress. Yeah, I would like to address that towards the end of our discussion this evening. And we got Claudia, and she's trying to get back into meditation. Haley needs to switch off and deal with kind of living alone and reconnecting to herself. And we got Pedro Vila. No way. Hello, mate. Blimey, haven't heard from you for a long time. And you totally lapsed over these last few months. Okay, well, let's definitely get you back on track. Anyone who's been given a mantra by me or by one of my colleagues, Matt in Sydney is a great teacher, then obviously I'm going to be giving out a generic one. Your own personal mantra will be considerably more powerful. So definitely stick with that, Pete. And if you want to get in touch, obviously, I think you've got my email. I hope you do. Do reach out, because I would love to help you get back in the swing. I know you were a massive proponent of all of this, and I seem to recall it changed your life. So let's get you back in the slipstream. And we have Jess from Manchester, new to meditation, tried it on the apps, but not stuck with it. But your brother recommended this to you. Anxiety is a thing, and you want to get a better mindset. Good for you. Yeah, and you know what anxiety is? It's anything from a hassle to crippling, really. And if we can overcome our anxieties, even in spite of the collective anxiety that exists out there in the world, then you're going to feel like a little superstar, Jess. So you might not feel it straight away, but give it some time, and you're going to start feeling better and better and better. And of course, you're all going to have the app to help keep you going. For those of you who maybe find this sort of thing difficult to make a habit, the app has all those sort of gamification things in there to help it be more of a compelling experience. And as time goes on, you'll find more and more. And Joe's just reported some buffering. Has anyone else got buffering that's making connection issues? Oh dear. Oh no. Ha. Okay. We did create a backup option, actually, just in case. So I'm just gonna, if you excuse me, I'm gonna get in touch with the team. Yeah, everyone's got it. So obviously I don't have any buffering issue myself, so I don't know how bad it is, but I'm wondering if we should consider a backup option. I'm just going to call Haley, who's on the line, because this is the first one. Obviously we're having to sort of check how this new format works, because we've got another Okay, blimey, I heard myself about 5 seconds later. It is, everything's groovy? Excellent. All right, thank you. Bye. Okay, so my colleague Paul is saying we can jump to a Google Meet if it gets a bit squiffy. Let's continue as we are for now, and if we need, you guys can let me know if we need to do a switcheroo. So of course, you've all turned up for whatever reasons you've turned up. Consistency of practice seems to be a big part of it, and I will do my best to make the meditation easy, because if it's easy, you'll find it less of a chore to fit into your day. I will give you the best practice I can so that the meditation feels worthwhile. I do teach sort of next level courses, and I'm able to take things a bit further in that domain. But this is still, for those of you who've tried various apps and whatnot, and maybe you've gone to a class here or there, you will still find this more beneficial, more profound than what you've tried previously. So if it's a bit more impactful and it's easier to do, then it's going to be easier to make a regular habit. And obviously, as I said, you're going to have the app to make it work as well. I guess the final points will be around, I'll do my best to try and motivate you, to give you a bit of a slingshot so that you start developing a groove. And it's actually making me wonder whether there could be some little, whether we could create groups of you or something. If those of you who want to be part of a group, maybe there could be an accountability thing. You could team up in 5s or something like that and have a little WhatsApp or email buddy group, so that you can help motivate and inspire yourselves to do it. And then I guess the final point is just making sure that we're fitting it into the day, so that it's just less of a hassle. If I can help you get into the mindset of how you can make it work, how you can make time rather than scrabbling around trying to find time. You'll rarely find time if you're just waiting for a 15 or 20 minute window to drop in your lap. But when you get in the habit of making time, it just works. So Hayley, it would seem that people are keen to do these little kind of buddy groups. So I believe the email we should get you all to send emails to let us know that you want to participate in a buddy group is hello@beejameditation.com. And maybe Paul and Hayley and Ricky, we should set up a dedicated email for this. So anyone who wants to be part of a buddy group, hello@beejameditation.com, and then we'll put you into little groups of 5, connect you all up, and then you guys can take it there. Now, we're going to do everything we can to help get you up and running and to support you along the way as well. That's the beauty of having an app. But actually, what's different about us in many ways is we're also here to try and help you become self-sufficient. We want to ultimately one day make ourselves completely redundant. And for those of you who want to, trip the light fandango and become a little Jedi, then we can assist with all that kind of stuff as well. But at some point, our job is to help you, enable you, facilitate such a level of development and understanding for you that you don't need us anymore. So that's why I want to put a little bit of this back to you guys as well, to self-organize and to help be accountable to one another. Because when we make those sorts of empowered choices, it's just so uplifting. And Joe's saying that will help her keep consistency, she thinks. I'm glad to hear it. So where to begin? I guess, do you know what I like to do? I like to get people meditating quite quickly. And so I'm going to actually suggest that we do a little meditation very shortly and without giving you too much instruction. And the reason why I want to do that is because I want you guys to feel like you've got a free pass to not try and be great, to not attempt to be a perfect meditator or a successful meditator. I want you to just have so little information that you almost come at it like a child, give it a go, see what happens, and maybe in that there'll be some insights. It will certainly raise questions, and then we can deal with the questions afterwards. So if you guys are all set, get yourself in position, okay? Be seated comfortably if you can. I suggest that you all have your feet on the floor if possible, particularly anyone with a busy mind or with anxiety or anything like that, or anyone who finds sitting cross-legged just a bit uncomfortable. Don't sit cross-legged. I can only recommend people who are quite advanced or just very chill with no anxiety or busy mind, and very flexible sits cross-legged. So hopefully that should mean that you can be more comfortable. Also have back support. The idea of having your back up straight, to be honest, is just a pain in the ass. And actually, it slows you down. You make far more progress when you actually are comfortable. So if you guys want to get yourselves nice and comfortable now, feet on the floor, have your palms facing upwards in your lap. Okay, some of you may have a tendency to have your palms down. I want you to rotate those palms, have them in your lap, can be on top of one another, on your thighs or out to the side, no difference. But the rotation upwards, big difference. Okay. And then when you're ready, slowly close the eyes. And scan your body from tip to toe. I'll guide you on this. We're just going to soften and release every part of our body. So start with the top of the head, the scalp area. Just imagining that letting go, releasing, softening. And the forehead. If your brow's been furrowed today, just let it unfurrow. Imagine your eyeballs softening. Your cheeks releasing. Your jaw softening. Your neck. It's letting go. Let your shoulders drop. Simultaneously soften the front and the rear of your chest. Imagine a little hole in the rear of your chest, in the middle of your back. Just imagine breathing in and out of that hole as you inhale. Imagine air coming in through that blowhole. And as you exhale, imagine it leaving. Now bring your attention down to the belly. Just softening and releasing the belly. Imagine everything inside of the belly also softening. Now the lower back. Imagine a ball of white light in your pelvic area, shining brightly, swishing through the entire pelvic and lower back regions. Loosening up the tension, sweeping it up, transmuting it into a light, happy energy. Soften the arms and the hands. Soften the legs and the feet. And just imagine that ball of white light expanding and emanating throughout your entire being, collecting up any fear that has managed to work its way into your body, into your being. And imagine it all now gathering at the base of your spine. And imagine it shooting out of the rear of your spine, leaving your body. So everything we've just done thus far can be considered a prep phase. Now we're going to move into the main event. We're going to start using the mantra Beeja, actually. And in a minute, I'd like you to start saying that sound within your mind. For those of you who've already got a mantra, use your mantra. And when you start repeating the sound in your mind, you want it to be very, very soft, very gentle, very faint, okay? Some of you might be tempted to try and focus or concentrate on it. That's far too much effort. Some of you might be tempted to say it quite loudly because that can feel quite reassuring. Do the opposite. Let it be soft. Let it be in the background rather than the foreground. So start repeating that sound now. Beeja. 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 And let it become a tiny little whisper. And notice how I've left spaces between the repetitions. Don't bang it out too quick. Be chill. Let it breathe. And as you start doing this, you'll likely find the mind wandering quite a lot, and that's totally fine. Just roll with whatever comes without trying to change it in any way. No resistance, no control, no concentration. Just an occasional impulse of mantra whenever it occurs to you. And if you need to fidget, that's totally fine. Whoever it was that was the fidgeter, I'm sure you're not the only one. That's cool. Do whatever you need to do to be comfortable. And if you feel yourself falling into a deeper space, even if you feel like you're going to fall asleep, just let it happen and see where it takes you. No effort, no control. Just a simple, innocent experience like that of a small child. Enjoy. Beeja. 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 Sorry, guys. I put myself on mute. So keep your eyes closed. Keep doing the thing. Keep repeating the sound within your mind. And for those of you who find that your mind is busy, is wandering, feels like thoughts are pinging around like a pinball machine, it's all good. That's not a problem. It's a natural part of the process. We're like these pressure cookers that have got too much stuff stored up inside. And this practice is like releasing the valve, just letting all the stuff go. Okay? So be cool with that. Allow yourself to flow through the process. Sometimes you'll have thoughts, sometimes you've got the mantra, sometimes it's something completely different. You might be completely away with the fairies. If you are, cool, that's fine. So no attempting to be good at it. No employing effort to try and stay with the mantra. Just allow yourself to be a passenger in the process. When you realize, you come back to the sound Beeja whenever it occurs to you. And then you drift again. And at some point you realize and you come back. Then you drift. Then you come back. So continue in that fashion. We're going to do about 10 minutes of this. Just, even if that seems like a long time, just allow yourself to go with it. See what happens. Don't prejudge it. keeping the eyes closed. Stop saying your sound and just allow yourself to drift and meander for a couple of minutes. I'll let you know when to open your eyes. And to close out the meditation, just before you open your eyes, just become aware of how you're feeling now, whatever that might be. You could be calm, you could be agitated, you could be anything really. This isn't an exercise in trying to get an instantaneous hit of gratification. First and foremost, we need to just tune into ourselves again, unnumb ourselves from the craziness of modern life, particularly life in semi-lockdown. So just see what's happening, what feels positive, what feels negative, what feels indifferent, what are the particular flavors of things that you're experiencing. And then slowly open the eyes. Just take a minute to come back into the room. You don't necessarily have to look at the screens straight away. Just maybe allow yourself to have a slightly softer visual than a screen. So I think the first thing that would be good to check in is to see how you guys got on with allowing yourselves to meander. Because we are kind of quite controlling in modern life. In fact, I think it's fair to say that most of us are a little bit control freaky. And when we're a control freak, we are constantly trying to micromanage things. We're constantly analyzing things. Left brain is going in overdrive. What can we do better? What can we do better? Maybe those parts of us that don't feel that great about ourselves, those areas of us where there's a bit of self-worth issue, it gets triggered when we think we're not doing something right. We have a fear of failure that's been bred into us from a very, very young age. Nadine fidgeted a lot. That's cool. No issues with that, Nadine. No one is telling you have to be a frozen statue. What that's telling me is that your nervous system is very highly stimulated, and as your body wants to purge itself of that, it's creating movement. So your motor neurons will be involved in that in some way. It's all good. It just means it's evidence actually that this is highly valuable for you. Bridge, you like being able to feel relaxed to let yourself meander. Good, that's really important, and I'm glad you've responded well to that. You know, you can spend the rest of your life fighting your meditation, or you can flow with your meditation. I can guarantee you flow is going to be way better with this. You know, there are other practices which are a bit more hardcore. They tend to come from monastic origins, and it's very disciplined. You know, if you go to a Zen monastery in China, you have to sit there perfectly still for an hour, not move an inch. And if you do, the master will come around with their bamboo and hit you. Yeah, not sure that'll work so well for Nadine or indeed you, Bridge. That's one way of doing it. It doesn't need to be that harsh or rough. That's actually not better. If a lot of the people in those monasteries came and learned with us, they'd probably get along better with it, actually. If you're built to be a monk, go to the monastery. If you're built to be an everyday person, come and do something like this, because this is ideally suited to modern life. And because the rigors of modern life are so harsh, we actually need to give our brain permission to defrag itself from all the craziness. If we were all living on a mountaintop, it wouldn't need to defrag, but we're not. We're living these busy lives. We're looking at screens all day. So just allow yourself to drift and meander and defrag, and it's all good. And C. Anderson, dreamt a lot. Good, that's emotional processing. Happy days. That always makes me happy. And Jess, calm and relaxed, but slightly distracted. Yep, it's all good. And so our friend from Canada, a sort of intermittent waves of calm and then waves of restlessness. That is classic release process. All good. And Jess Vieira, within a few minutes, tears started streaming down my cheeks and you felt overwhelmed. As soon as I focused on it, it stopped. You definitely felt like you were fighting yourself not control. Yeah, look, for those of you who are a bit controlling, whether you realize it or not, you've developed that facet as a safety mechanism. You know, there's part of your brain called the limbic brain. Within that is a function called hypervigilance. And your hypervigilance feels like you need to constantly be trying to manage everything. Because if you don't manage everything, then something could go wrong. And we've become so ingrained with that. And we feed it. It's like a little monster that we constantly feed. Every time we say yes to being a control freak, we're just feeding the monster. So, of course, if you then come along to the meditation and you're suddenly allowing it to be all flowy and non-controlling, there's that your little gremlins are going to fight back and say, no, you can't do that. It's not safe. And Ali Jane, you like it when it's less controlling and more accepting. However you feel. Drum roll. Ali's hopefully going to tell us how she feels. Christina, your headache is gone. My head feels clear and light. Yes, it can be very good for headache clearance, although some of you may actually get headaches as part of the detox process in the next couple of days, just as a heads up. But I'm very happy for you, Christina. Headaches are never fun. Joe's mind and body was resisting, but you feel better for it already. Felt a bit breathless. Yes. So you're going to find lots of different experiences here, boys and girls. You may find you're hardly breathing. You may find strong physical sensations. You might find tears coming up as someone has. You may find emotions coming up. Body is moving all over the place. You could properly cry. You might find it being very dreamy, quite psychedelic, visual images, colors. You could find actually having some negative thinking as well, because as you're processing some of the trauma that's behind our negative self-talk, you can find actually that you have a bit of a spell of being, just a bit sort of dark thinking and stuff like that. It's all good, okay? I wish I had more time with you to teach you about all of this stuff, but I don't. So I just got to give you the headlines, really. And the headline is, don't worry about any of it. Honestly, this practice is safe as houses. It's just lovely. It does what it needs to do. If you're getting any of the negative stuff that might come up in the next few days or weeks, then that's because your pressure cooker was absolutely bursting. And this is you now releasing the valve. And you're literally letting off steam. So you're fine. You're going to be totally fine. And that is actually all the more reason to crack on with it in a super diligent way, because once you move through that, then you're into really good territory. Haley was very restless. Yeah, that's probably because your nervous system is jammed, as most people's are, so you won't be alone there. We'll do another one towards the end of the session. Let's see how that goes. And then go away, start using the app, start making it a regular thing, and then see what happens. You might find that the initial resistance, once you break through that, and you don't have to break through it with a sledgehammer, you can be really cute about the way that you break through it. I guess that's analogy that's coming to me is, if you hit a big rock, if you're, I don't know, excavating something in a garden and there's a big rock, you could get a pickaxe and just absolutely smash it to pieces. Or if you're clever, you just dig around it and then you use the leverage of the spade to just pop it out. And that is, I guess, analogous to how you want to deal with your resistance, which is just work with it, do what you need to do, and eventually, once you get it out of the way, everything flows. And Jess's cat was wanting some attention. Animals and young children do love it when people meditate, so don't be surprised if you get lots of attention. Personally, I like to put pets in a different part of the house because they do tend to they want some of the action, but they can get in the way. We can go and give them all the love and caresses afterwards if we wish. Julie's feeling good. Sally, you felt nauseous. Yes, Sally, nausea is another thing that people can experience. That is a symptom of anxiety release. So if any of you find yourself experiencing nausea in the next few weeks, it's absolutely classic. Don't let it put you off. In fact, let that be a motivator for you to keep soldering through, because this is your chance to actually change your relationship with your fears, with your anxieties, your insecurities, and ultimately with life. But you might, it might be a little bit smelly as this stuff is working its way out of your system. And it is a very common thing. Nausea is definitely one of the more common sort of side effects of doing the practices that we teach in the first few weeks. Obviously, long term, you'll have much less nausea because you just won't be so prone to anxiety and such like, whether you realize you are anxious or not. We've almost become so practiced at burying our emotions and how we feel that we don't even realize that we were anxious. I certainly didn't realize that I used to be anxious, but I think looking back, there was a reasonable amount of it, actually. Good. Thank you, guys. That's very, very helpful for me to get an understanding, again, of where you're at. And hopefully, as I'm talking to each of your points, it should be, in my experience, resonating with a number of you, because you do get these common themes coming up. And maybe if that wasn't you this time, maybe you'll get one of these things tomorrow or next week or next month. And then you'll be able to go, oh, yeah, I remember Will said that was okay, blah, 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 blah. I can relax. Because otherwise, if you don't know, you sort of sit there sweating a little bit. Oh, my God, is this right? Is it wrong? And, of course, that the anxiety plays upon that. So, and another thing, just to be aware, some of you who've been overusing your adrenals might find that you feel a bit lethargic in the coming days. And if you do, see if you can just let yourself surrender to that. We've got a weekend coming up very shortly. Great, bring it on. Have a nice lazy weekend if you can. Try not to just resort to caffeine or alcohol to numb yourselves again, because that's part of the problem. So many of you who are saying that you want it for this reason or that reason or the other reason, well, we've gotten ourselves a little bit in trouble because we have not treated our bodies well, or our minds. And we have, actually, our Western culture doesn't have a very good understanding of the holistic nature of all the interactions between mind, body, nervous system, and so on. And That's why we end up with so many chronic things going on in our lives. And probably the most chronic thing of all is chronic background stress. It's an actual phenomena, and basically everyone in the world has it, unless you're a meditator. And then if you're a very regular meditator, you won't have chronic background stress anymore. You'll have mild irritants coming into your life now and again, but you'll actually be in the relaxed, happy state. And I imagine that many of you want to be in the relaxed, happy state. And if there's anyone here thinking, oh yeah, but how am I going to get all my shit done? Trust me, you get more shit done and you do it better when you're in a relaxed, happy state. Because actually what happens is inspiration starts substituting for stress and adrenaline as your driving force through life, as your motive force. And I guess this touches on this idea of the whole redundancy reset. Some of you might feel like you're absolutely on track and it's all good, but of course, some of you might find yourselves at a bit of a crossroads in life. What do I do from here? Do I course correct, or do I carry on soldering through? And one of the things the meditation is going to do is help you reconnect with yourselves and help you refamiliarize yourselves with what's really important, what really calls you, what inspires you, what feels like is filled with meaning and purpose, what's going to help you experience a level of fulfillment so that you can share that fulfillment with the world, as opposed to simply doing a career, for example, that is just about paying the mortgage, or is just about this, or is just about impressing your family, or just about all those other things sounding good when you tell people at a party and you meet someone for the first time. You know, if you find yourself saying your job title, your profession, kind of waiting for them to be impressed by what you do, then yeah, maybe that's worth looking into. Is that really valid for you? And so one of the things that will happen for you guys is your temporoparietal lobe will grow larger, according to research. I'm actually working with the lady who did that research, and it's very famous as well. That's associated with greater perspective. And so not only will you, in time, if you do this very regularly, you will start to get more of that Zen perspective. You will understand what is your path a bit more. It will be a bit easier to work out what your calling is. And maybe you can start actually seizing the day and realizing that, this crossroads is a fantastic opportunity. Rather than it being a threat, it's actually an opportunity for me to course correct. Because maybe some of you, maybe many of you, were hurtling through life pre-lockdown, and you were just so hell-bent on realizing a small package of goals, and you might have burnt the next 2 or 3 decades in pursuit of those goals. And then you kind of retire, and then you think, shit, I wish I'd done this, I wish I'd done that, I wish I'd done the other. And I don't suppose anyone really wants to get to their senior years and wish they'd done so many things differently. And so this stopping humanity in its tracks, forcing us to slow down, to smell the roses, to appreciate life, to appreciate what we've got, to give us an opportunity to decide, actually, is this the right path for me, is a really good thing. It's an opportunity. It's actually a historically unprecedented opportunity, to use the word unprecedented, as everyone was doing at the beginning. And so whatever life has dealt you, it has dealt you those things. And we can just allow ourselves to be a victim to meet these things and feel kind of put upon by life. But this is why meditation is so important, because it helps you transcend that stuff. It helps you elevate above this very self-limiting perspective that many of us have, this very limiting conditioned thinking that we have, that's been passed down to us through our culture, through our family line. And it makes us more capable to cope with challenges and to stay centered through those challenges, and ultimately seize the day and actually turn a negative into a positive. It's a bit like a martial artist, you know. A really great martial artist doesn't need to do that much. They can use the power of your attempt to strike them and almost turn that around you. It was funny, actually. I was watching Karate Kid the other day. Haven't seen that since I was a nipper. And Mr. Miyagi, super cool. You know, he does hardly anything. And I know it's a Hollywoodization of the whole thing. But, you know, he'd beat his opponent just by dodging out of the way and let his opponent put his hand through glass or something like that. And in a way, there's something in that for life and how we can approach life, particularly when we're meditating. We can fight with life. We can just constantly try and push that boulder up the mountain. Harder and harder we go. God, that summit always seeming so far away. And then when you get to the top of one summit, then you see there's another summit further on down the horizon. And it's this never-ending, exhausting battle to try and achieve some unreachable thing. It's kind of attainable, but it's not, because we put these proxies in there that are attainable, and we think, oh, well, if I just get that, then everything's going to be okay. But as soon as you get that, then you end up raising the bar to that and to that and to that, because actually you're not feeling fulfilled. And life doesn't actually have to be that way. You can access some inner reservoir of brilliance that actually makes you feel good in spite of circumstances. And, you know, I'm a human being. I've lived through this whole COVID thing. I was living on my own, like one of the people in the group. And, not getting a hug for 5 months takes its toll on anyone. And all those other challenges that come up, they still hit you. But the difference is you can still find yourself getting to sleep at night. You can still wake up in the morning feeling actually quite positive, singing in the shower, getting on with the day, having a joke and a laugh. If you're being honest, then yeah, things are not very easy. But that doesn't mean to say that you have to allow yourself to be dragged down by them. You can actually still be in a bubbly state even when you've got just so many crazy things falling on top of you simultaneously, that you ordinarily, you know, for your former pre-meditation self, it would have absolutely crushed you into pulp. But actually you're okay. And you still have your grumps here and there. Doesn't make life perfect. That sure as shit makes life a lot better. And so bear that in mind. You know, this meditation can be a founding pillar of a better life in every way, shape, or form. Making better decisions, getting better sleep, being able to be more effective, more productive, more creative, interacting with people in a more powerful way, being more present for the people that you care about, being more emotionally intelligent in your interactions with them, giving yourself the headroom to not just snap and, you know, fight back, giving you a tool to actually process your shit so that you don't end up taking it out on other people, giving you the opportunity to reconnect with yourself again, to feel more connected with life, with nature, with the universe, with random human beings. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And most of us are only getting tiny fragments of all of this. And it's astounding, really, once you realize just what's possible, why we would all settle for such poverty of experience. And we can all have our highs and lows, and obviously we could all go down to well, maybe not now because of lockdown, but I'm sure we could find a rave somewhere and bosh a load of pills and for a few hours, we're going to feel fucking great, and we're going to start telling everyone how much we love them. Not going to feel so good next week. So we can trigger spike experiences. But the problem with spike experiences is the trough between the spikes just doesn't feel that satisfying. And so what we're really doing here is we're actually raising our baseline level of happiness. And it's interesting, in ancient India, they have two understandings of happiness. You've got prayer and you've got sukha. Prayer is spike happiness, living for the weekend, all that kind of stuff. Sukha is just that thing that's rock solid and stays there. Honestly, if you guys smash this meditation, your sukha value is just going to keep going up and up and up and up. And even if we could all raise our sukha value by 10%, what a better world we live in. But we can do a lot better than 10% as well. And this is your opportunity to start on that. So, let me just consult my notes. You guys are obviously welcome to ask questions anytime you like. Let's talk about the technicals. I'm only going to be able to review these, relatively quickly. The app will remind you of these things as well. As I said, with the posture, okay? Feet on the floor, unambiguously a good idea for most of your meditations. Get yourself in a nice comfy chair, have your feet on the floor, all good. If you can, take your shoes off, because just let your feet breathe. Let your feet feel the solidity of the ground below, rather than simply the soles of your shoes. If you can't take your shoes off, so what? I do it all the time. If you're in bed, get a couple of pillows behind your back. Have your legs out straight. Get yourself all nice under the duvet. Feel snugly. Off you go. Always have your back supported. Always have your palms facing upwards. Maybe don't lean back too much with your head. Maybe lean your head a little bit forward. Set yourself up with the right posture. Generally speaking, it won't be that great for you to have much caffeine or food in your system. So, because they're both, digestion is very stimulatory, caffeine bloody stimulatory. So, absolute recommendation. Get it in the morning, before any breakfast, before any caffeine, before you look at your phone. Get up, go and have a shower, do a meditation, then do life. And you will be better for life. And having that discipline in your day, getting it in before you start work or you start munching, it sets you up for the day. Everything in the day is better. You will be calmer, clearer, making better decisions, just drilling through your stuff, prioritizing your day better, being nicer to people, feeling more motivated, having more sustained energy through the day, being able to adapt to all of those bloody demands that come at you from left field, and you wonder when it's ever going to end. So get your day started correctly. That, honestly, is one of the biggest take homes from this. If you think to yourself, oh, well, I'll do it after this and I'll do it after that, it ain't going to happen. Let's be realistic. Doing, if you like to do your morning exercise, great combination. Exercise, shower, meditate. Lovely combination. So do that, okay? But definitely showering beforehand is a good idea as well. It really makes a difference for so many different reasons. It's good for your nervous system to be clean and to have that hot water just pacifying your nervous system. And if you need a hit of caffeine or sugar in the middle of the afternoon, why not meditate then instead? You could not waste that time, but you could spend that time 15-20 minutes going to get a coffee, getting a bit of cake, having a chat with someone, maybe skimming through Instagram, looking at WhatsApp, basically just trying to avoid your workload because you just don't feel like you have very much energy. Or sneak off, do a little meditation, come back, boom, You're back in again, and you're ready to go. So honestly, if for those of you who really want to smash it, if you can do 2 a day, your life will change. It's just the way it is. That's how you rewire your brain. 2 meditations a day, more powerful brain, full stop. More balanced hormones, much more energy, much better sleep, calmer nervous system, less emotion, less physiological imbalance, whether it's digestion, reproduction, fertility, immunofunction, cardiovascular, blah, blah, blah. There are actually studies to verify all those claims. I'm not just being, I'm not just plucking this stuff from the air. There's actually loads on all of this sort of stuff, okay? So you can sort yourself out in a major way. Once a day kind of keeps you ticking over. Twice a day, big difference. 2 meditations a day is far more impactful. It's more than twice as impactful as 1 meditation a day. And for any of you who go, how am I possibly going to do that? Just see what happens. You'll be amazed how much more productive you are in a couple of months. And you will just get your shit done. You'll have more time in the day to actually do what you need to do rather than less time. It's one that our left brain struggles with, because our left brain processes information in a linear way, and it decontextualizes things. So your left brain will be going, how the hell am I going to find time for 2 meditations a day? But that misses the dynamic reality that if you do that, you just don't faff. Just get on with shit. You make shit happen, and you feel better about life. And when you feel better about life, you also get shit done as well. It's very, very cool like that. Let's just see if there's any questions. Jess is asking, how important is it not eating for 2 hours before meditating? With this technique, Jess, you can probably, I guess if you're going back to your old technique, I would avoid eating for 2 hours before meditating, yes. Because, 90 minutes is not so bad. But otherwise, the digestion is fighting what the mantra is doing for you. Mantra is kind of resonating through you, calming your nervous system down. Digestion is actually stimulating your nervous system, far less functional. So I would try and find ways to sneak it in when your belly isn't full. Obviously, if it's a snack, it's a snack. No great shakes. But if it's a proper meal, there's a big difference on your digestion. That's a lot of work. Ali's asking, is there much difference in what kind of meditation you do for physical pain management versus mental well-being? Not in my world, Ali, no. At the end of the day, these things are actually far more related than we would give credit for, which is probably why I imagine you notice that your physical pain gets worse when you feel stressed. So you can take a very pick and mixy approach to meditation, and as you'll find in the app, there are guided meditations for this and there's guided meditations for that, and so on and so forth. And I have created them. I'm actually quite proud of what we've created in terms of the one for creativity is going to stimulate more creativity than any other feature. But there is a theme, which is every single meditation will also deliver you to a sort of core essence and will calm everything down in a relatively centralized way. And that's what you need, Ali, is for everything to be calmed down in a centralized way, because then it will echo out physiologically and neurologically. And also, very interestingly, with pain management, if there's a chronic pain situation, that's because the pain receptors in your brain are chronically activated. It's not generally actually about the local area of your body anymore. Your body might have healed itself, but they just got switched on and never switched off. And so you're getting pain. But actually, there's not pain there. It's up here. There's one of the more famous neuroscientists, Dr. Norman Doidge, has written 2 books that I'm aware of about this. And so you need to retrain your brain for the pain management anyway, etc., etc. So Yeah, I personally, if you're working with Beeja, you don't need to worry about like trying to fix the symptoms. Fix the roots. We're all about fix the roots, and this is not just us. This really is the general Eastern mindset. Is water the roots, and then you'll get good fruits. And it just so happens this is I guess I am an exponent or an ambassador of the oldest tradition of knowledge in India and the most revered. And there is a level of excellence there in terms of helping people fix root issues that you don't find in many systems. You do find it occasionally in others. And what I'm teaching you here will take you a certain way. If any of you want to take it further, you can come and do a beginner's course with us or something like that, and we can help take it further. But I'm not here to sell you anything. We're doing this because we just want to help. But yeah, this is it just requires a certain shift in paradigm, I guess, away from this idea of trying to fix everything at the surface level. You will spend an entire life trying to do that and never succeed. But actually, if you just fix a few of these core issues, the ripple effects into everything is huge. Jess Vera, you wake up starving. Yes, that's because of the activation of your nervous system. Then all the more reason to just get on with the meditation so that you can eat is my suggestion. Honestly, you can overcome that. And if you need to, hot water or lemon and water is a good thing. I wouldn't have honey in your hot tea if I were you, but hot water is very good for pacifying that sort of thing. Hot water bottles also very pacifying for you. Just get out of bed and get in the shower, get meditating, earn your breakfast. It's all good. And if it feels excruciating or just really hard, there's something in that. And if you keep meditating, you will probably start chipping away at that thing. Why does breathing feel more difficult when meditating? Because you're going into what's known as a hypometabolic state. And basically, you aren't going to need much oxygen. And so your breathing might become very low. That doesn't mean to say it's necessarily difficult, unless you're fighting the fact that you're barely breathing, or you could even not breathe for quite a period of time because you don't need to. If you actually found yourself struggling, then that suggests that perhaps your respiratory system is trapped, blocked, constricted. All the more reason to meditate. It will unrestrict. The data on this practice is that there is a 73% reduction in respiratory disorders. So either you're just projecting onto the lack of breath as being a problem, or you are experiencing, very uncomfortable shortness of breath because of a physiological disorder, which probably has an emotional component, fear and all that kind of stuff. So I can't go into all of this stuff in one evening, but as I say, all the more reason to crack on with the meditation and break on through. Julie, is it better to try and wean off caffeine totally? And what about a short walk in the morning in fresh air as a walking meditation? So it depends on your body type. Actually, for some people who are of a really, really big build, actually one coffee in the morning might be quite beneficial if it's good quality coffee and it's not a bloody great venti. For anyone with anxiety, anyone with a busy mind, anyone who doesn't have a really kind of big constitution, then yeah, the caffeine becomes very questionable because of what it does to your biological rhythms known as circadian rhythms, what it does to your nervous system in terms of hyperstimulating you and various other things. So look, you do what feels right for you. When you're meditating regularly, your body will tell you what's right for it, and you will hopefully be able to go with it. And if your body says, yeah, don't need this caffeine anymore, I'm okay, I've got a different energy supply now. And actually, and you might even lose your taste for it, except for those gorgeous moments in life where maybe you have a little connoisseur's pleasure. So I wouldn't try and force yourself necessarily, because I'm not convinced that tends to be that sustainable. But get the meditation sorted, and if you don't really feel that much need for the caffeine anymore, generally speaking, it's going to be more beneficial for you. And if I could see you, I would be able to tell what body type you were, and then be able to say with authority that would be good for you, or perhaps actually stick with one. Anyone who's taking more than one caffeinated drink a day is basically compromising the efficacy of their nervous system. Morning in fresh air walking, yeah, I think that's an excellent thing to do for one's well-being. I would not call that a meditation. One of my mild frustrations in life is people calling all sorts of things a meditation. It's like, yeah, that's not meditation. It's, it's a moment. It's a good thing. I champion that. If everyone took a morning walk, the world would be a better place. But I feel that we benefit from having a clear understanding of what meditation is. And in my view, meditation is an opportunity to de-excite the nervous system so that you can actually fundamentally change the way that your subconscious is working and how your nervous system operates. And no amount of morning walks is going to have that level of impact, but it will be positive. So if you can do both, bellissimo. Ali, yeah, you've been recommended to try meditation for chronic pain. Yeah, it's a good thing to do. What can I say? It's not necessarily that easy for the first few months, because those pain receptors are hardwired in. But certainly when you do the technique that we teach on the beginners courses, which to be fair is sort of like this plus, the science is that there's a 45% reduction in pain symptoms after 5 months of practice, which is pretty good. And long term, significantly less pain still. This will still move the dial for you, and I hope you're able to make it stick, because I don't imagine it's much fun for you to have to experience that. But also realize not only is there like chronic brain programming going on with chronic pain, oftentimes there can also be an emotional component or a trauma component to it. As a quick one, if your body is ever getting your attention through some kind of sensations or symptoms, it's your body basically saying, hello, I'm here, there's a problem, can you fix me? But our culture is, oh, go away, take a pill, do something, go for a run, try and run it off, drink it off with caffeine, numb it with alcohol, take numbing medications, numb ourselves in front of the television. We'll do anything, numb ourselves on our phone. So we are all about kind of avoidance of discomfort in our culture. It's so unbelievably unhealthy. The ramifications of that one cultural tendency is so huge. It boggles my mind. So every time your body's telling you something, rather than seeing it as an annoyance, see it as, oh, okay, cool. My body's attempting to communicate with me. Maybe there's something I can do about it. Because generally speaking, if we keep ignoring the body, then we end up in a bit of a train wreck situation. And nobody wants to end up in a train wreck situation. And I'm assuming that you've all turned up here because you are quite positive and proactive, and you are people who are of a mind to improve. You wish to empower yourself to live a better life. And I support that and champion that, as do all of the team. We've got Ricky, Paul and Haley tuning in as well. We're all of the same mindset. Like, we really, through our own journeys, we've seen just how valuable and important it is to take responsibility for our own journey and do something about it. Pedro, you needed to kick up the backside. Good man. That makes me happy. I look forward to hearing from you. And if you're still here, please say hi to, I think it was Simon and Chelsea and all of that crew. I remember you guys well. And I remember the floods of people that came after you learned. So yeah, thank you for spreading the love, and please spread my good vibes back to the gang. It's been a few years. So let me reconsult my list. When you're doing the meditation, be soft, be effortless, be nonchalant. Okay, really, really, really important. If you're type A, if you're a perfectionist, if you're a doer, use that part of your personality to get yourself meditating twice a day. If that is how you roll, then invest all of your energy in doing the bloody thing. But once you're in the chair, once you've closed your eyes, let go. You are no longer Mr. or Mrs. Type A. You are Mr. or Mrs. Chill. And you just kind of fluidly float through the experience, going here, there, and everywhere, sleepy, dreamy, thinky, emotionally, cry, whatever. And you just return to the mantra whenever it occurs to you. That's it. Nothing more. So simple. Okay? Avoid expectation. Don't want it to feel deep. Don't want it to feel special. Don't want it to feel free of all thoughts. Be cool with the thoughts. Be cool with whatever comes along. Your mind will wander. That's okay. Just simply return to the mantra whenever you can. And even if it feels zany all over the shop, like, what the hell's going on here? This doesn't feel a productive use of my time. You will still be getting benefit of that, I can guarantee you. Do you know what? Actually, I'll tell you what I do feel comfortable doing. Is I feel comfortable recommending the book I wrote, The Effortless Mind. Because I really think it could be a good companion for you guys, if you want to give this a good go. Because it gives you lots of handy tips. It'll be a good reminder for you in the coming weeks of remembering to stay effortless, hence why it's called The Effortless Mind, and getting an understanding of what it's really about and why we're doing this thing. And because in many ways, this is the most challenging thing for us to get our heads around. For all of us who've been cultured to work hard to succeed and to strive for success and to, no pain, no gain, I'm kind of telling you something which is a little bit heretical, really. Basically telling you, stop giving a shit. Stop trying to achieve. Stop trying to be successful. Just let it happen. And all you got to do is very gently and relaxedly return to the mantra whenever it occurs to you. And by the way, FYI, it won't occur to you half the time, and that's cool. Just so you know, the people who are legendary meditators of this practice, they don't have the mantra there very often. They're not there just pounding out the mantra. No, the mantra acts as a little vehicle that just takes you into this inner space, this inner world, and calms everything down at a physiological level, triggers high-level coherence at a neurological level, and does all of these cool things at an energetic level. That's what the mantra's there to do. So don't fixate on it, and definitely don't go to war with your thoughts. So and then at the end, you may have noticed that I asked you all to take a couple of minutes before opening your eyes, very important. I was actually ever so slightly concerned because some of you might not know this, but I started to talk to you all 5 minutes into the meditation, and then Ricky gave me a call. As soon as I saw him calling, I was like, "Oh, something's up," and I looked, and I was on mute. But 3 or 4 of you were like, "Will, you're on mute," and I was like, "What are you still doing with your eyes open?" So eyes closed is important, guys. Okay, very important. Please don't fuck with that, because we are doing something here. We are using a sound to resonate through our nervous system to de-excite our nervous system. If we keep our eyes open, nervous system can't de-excite, and that creates conflict. It actually messes with the nervous system. So eyes closed, we do our prep. We'll go through prep again when we do a meditation. You do your meditation being super cool and freestyle and loose and hey man, it's all cool. My type A is taking a break. And then once you've done, I mean, I'm going to recommend, in an ideal world, you do 20 minutes. But if you can't do 20 minutes, do 15 minutes. But 20 is good. There's an extra sweetness to that extra 5 minutes that's quite powerful. After that, take 2 minutes eyes closed. And honestly, don't mess with that. If you stop taking the 2 minutes at the end, you may as well just give up and go home now. Like, just don't even bother. If you don't take that integration period at the end, you will get nada out of this. And I really don't want you to get nothing out of this. I want you to get as much as you possibly can. So you take the 2 minutes at the end, let go of the mantra, and you just kind of chill and hover and blah-de-blah. And if you continue to take the steps in the app, then we will teach you some other things to do at the end. Okay. Once you open your eyes again and you're ready to rock and roll, try and avoid judging the meditation. It's such a classic thing for people to do when they're just starting out. Oh, it wasn't such a good meditation. No, it was amazing. Blah, 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 blah. Like, it is what it is. It's not that important, the experience you have. What's important is you do it twice a day and your general life experience improves. And over time, that improvement becomes very notable. And then you're sorted. And you don't, and then of course you realize you never needed to give a shit about trying so hard in the first place. In fact, there is someone here who I was having a conversation with them just the other day, and basically someone very close to them is trying a little bit hard to make big progress. And it makes me chuckle because actually they're probably only going at half speed because they're trying so hard. And if they just were able to chill out, surrender, let go, and trust, boom, everything would open up for them. And they would hit the fast lane and they would be flying down the autobahn. And so please do bear that in mind. The less you try, the better it will be. All you've got to invest your energy in, get yourself in the chair twice a day, get your routine sorted, get your Monday to Friday routine sorted, get your Saturday, Sunday routine sorted. And, be adaptive. Try meditating in public environments, noisy environments. You need to crack noisy environments. Don't try and block them out. Just get on with it anywhere. And if you feel that self-conscious, put earphones in your ears, do something, but don't put music, okay? You need to learn how to do this in noisy environments if you're going to make this a regular thing. The noise, whilst distracting, is not going to undermine the benefit. Very important for you to all know that. Because otherwise, if you always need quiet conditions, you're screwed. You're never going to be able to find quiet the whole time. And obviously, some of you might be trying to do it at home, and there might be some very noisy members of your household. And so you won't get peace. Stop looking for external peace. Just cultivate the art of nonchalance. Find your inner peace. If you get distracted, if you get irritated by it, that's cool. That's just you working through your stuff. Long term, you won't give a shit. I can meditate in pretty much any environment, and I've been able to do that for a very long time. I've meditated through 2 big earthquakes, meditated in nightclubs. I've meditated in the most crazy, ridiculous circumstances. And most of them were in the first few years of me meditating. You can do that. If any of you got crazy levels of anxiety and your startle response is very high, if you've got PTSD, fair enough. Maybe don't meditate in very noisy environments just yet. But for everyone else, mild to medium anxiety, anything going, just get on with it. That is an essential part of making this work in your life. It's just getting on with it, regardless of circumstance. Julie's asking, can the mantra be a word or sound of our own? Yes, it could be. Just take care with that, because what the ancient Indians were super brilliant at was understanding the interaction between sound and nervous system and each phoneme. So a phoneme is like a sonic syllable. So the word mantra is made up of two phonemes, man, tra. And interestingly, each phoneme does activate your brain in a certain way. So my only watch out for self-selection is, do you actually understand what that is doing, how that is resonating through your nervous system? And it's not even, does it feel subjectively good? Because that's not always a great idea it's interesting to me now seeing how much more popular crystals are, because Christ, when I started meditating, meditation was weird. Crystals were batshit crazy. And there is actually, interestingly, even when meditation had changed my life beyond all recognition, I still thought crystals were bollocks. But I've come to realize actually there's a big reason for why they work, not just spiritually, but I've actually worked out why they work sort of scientifically. And so many people are, this crystal just feels so right for me. So yeah, actually it's not right for you. So just take care is all I'd say, Julie. It's difficult. That's why I tend to give people their own personalized mantras, because I'm able to understand what's going to rock people's worlds. And then there's generic mantras which I give out to people, which work for everybody. And that sound Beeja is a goodie. I wouldn't underestimate actually how good that is as a generic mantra. It's bloody marvelous. And Jess, how important is the pronunciation of the mantra? Yeah, you want to be relatively on the money without stressing about it. If you try and be too perfect, you'll actually compromise its efficacy. So just be loosely on the money. If you've got any questions about your own mantra, you'll have to pick up with me personally, Jess, because it's not fair to the rest of the group to talk about that, because obviously most people have got the generic sound. Okay, let's go back to my little checklist. And yeah, so no judgment, no self-criticism, no seeking perfection. Just give yourself a holiday from all of that stuff when you're doing this, and you just get on with it. So what I'm going to suggest is that we now have another little run through, okay? And what I'd like to do this time is talk you through what's going to happen in advance, and then just try and let you be a bit more self-sufficient with it, okay? So I will guide you through an opening sequence again, a prep sequence. Then I'll just say, start your mantra. And when you're doing the mantra, remember all the things that we've discussed. Just being super fluid and easy and cool, letting it happen. Who cares if you fidget? Who cares if you think? Who cares if you dream? Who cares if you barely breathe? None of it is consequential. Just crack on. And then I'll give the little marker to take you 2 minutes at the end, and allow yourself to float and drift. And then when you open your eyes, if you find yourself judging it, or if you're finding yourself judging it mid meditation, just be like, yeah, it is what it is. Okay. So get yourselves all sat as instructed, remembering feet on the floor, palms facing upwards. Closing the eyes and keeping them closed now. until the end of the meditation. If any of you have the urge to see what's going on, see if you can overcome the urge, transcend the urge, okay? Don't let your control freak override you. Feeling your feet on the floor now. We're going to do something called a grounding exercise. Grounding is always a good idea. There is not a human being that I'm aware of that wouldn't benefit from doing a grounding exercise several times a day. So imagine anchors dropping from the middle of your feet going deep into the earth. So literally right out the center of your foot, dropping, 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 dropping down into the earth, burrowing deeper and deeper and deeper until you're getting really far into the earth, moving all the way to the core of the earth. And imagine a third anchor dropping from your tailbone, going deep into the earth, moving through all of the layers of the earth. Connecting with the core of the earth, connecting you with its stability, its robustness, its support. Now scan your awareness around your body, softening and releasing all the muscles as you go. I'm going to give you a minute to do that. And then when you're ready, let the mantra come, remembering to be soft and easy and loose and fluid. take 2 minutes. When you're ready, slowly open the eyes. Just take a minute. So feel free to drop comments in the comment box about where you're at, how that one was this time. Where did it feel easier to just go with the flow? Did you have any challenges? Let's work through some of this. Ali's saying, felt a lot easier second time round. I'm pleased to hear that. Well done. Two a day keeps the demons away. We should say that, I think. So obviously, as a takeaway from here and as next steps, getting the app downloaded and working with that, you will be immediately bound, or you should be immediately bounced to the 5th step of the Learn to Meditate program, or the 12 steps program, I think it's called. And so I would do 1 step per day, and then I would do 1 on your own per day. The one you do on your own, I would do for 20 minutes at a time. So you can go into the timer section, Beeja Beginner, and you can press start, and there'll be like a 1-minute prep phase, 20-minute meditation, and 2 minutes at the end. The lesson is probably slightly less than 20 minutes. So play around. Is it better to do the lesson in the morning and then do your freestyle one on your own later in the day? Or is it actually better to do your own one in the morning and the lesson later in the day? Try and get 2 a day done. There's 8 more lessons to go. So that's at least the next 8 days taken care of. I think there might be a challenge at the end of it as well. So it's worth taking the challenge, but definitely try and make the twice a day thing happen, and try and make it happen till Christmas. That would be a really, really good yardstick for you. So complete the meditation program. That'll take you up to mid-October. do the 30-day challenge in there, but do 2 a day. That'll take you to mid-November. And then, or if it's in the app, I'm just trying to think. I think it might be in the app. So you wouldn't believe how much goes into apps. It's ridiculous. And I'm working on 2 versions of the app at the moment. There might even be something called the 8-week challenge. And you could just actually go straight from either go from the 30-day challenge to an 8-week challenge, or go straight to the 8-week challenge if you can. But get yourself doing it until Christmas and see what happens. And do your twice a day. Try and do 20 minutes. If you can't do 20 minutes, do 15 minutes. Pay attention to the lessons, and then you'll be able to go into the new year on a better trajectory. And look, I have a suspicion that we're probably going to have a bit of a smelly period coming up again. Something that is individually stressful, possibly slightly fear-inducing. Collectively, I think there'll be a lot of stress happening in these coming months. So this is an ideal time for you guys to have stepped up and done this. Economic uncertainty, all the stuff that we kind of know is on the horizon. We might not want to know about it. So just remember, the meditation might not be there to make you feel amazing. It might be using up its dividend, just helping you stay relatively cool through a difficult time. Don't expect too much from it in the first few weeks, but at some point in the next few months, it will start to become evident. Certainly by New Year, you should be feeling quite a lot better. And just if you're liking it, make it happen over Christmas, because otherwise you let it slip and it's hard to get back, which is why Jess and Pedro ended up tuning in tonight, because for whatever reason it had slipped out of their repertoire and they wanted to get back in the game. Don't lose it, because it's twice as difficult to get it going again. Jess had some interesting experiences, and I'm glad to hear that you're excited to start this, Joe. And yeah, challenges are great, Christina. I think that's just throwing down the gauntlet to you guys. And if any of you really want to go for it, okay, this is for people who want to go for gold. Valentine's Day, that's your real goal. That's your challenge. Look, to be honest, if you get through Christmas, January should be well easy anyway. But it's going to be it's winter, which is never that great in the Northern Hemisphere, plus COVID, plus economic craziness, who knows, lockdown, probably. Let this be your anchor. And if you feel any resistance, just do it anyway. And don't let yourself look at the phone in the morning till you've bloody done your meditation. Don't let yourself eat until you've done your meditation. And that includes you, Jess, who finds it difficult to not have food. Just make the bloody thing happen, because what unfolds over the next 5 or 6 months could be a sledgehammer that crushes you, or it could be your opportunity to rise above some of the greatest challenges in recent human history, certainly in the West at least, and actually come out the other side feeling elevated, feeling like you got your shit together, or at least feeling like you're not falling apart like everyone else. So go out there, make it happen. If any of you get any big results, let us know. If any of you have any problems with the app or anything like that, hello@beejameditation.com is your point of call. And Ricky and Paul will be on the other end of that, and you might hear from Haley as well. We're always here to support you as best we can, and I just really sincerely wish you well. Thank you for joining us on this inaugural Redundancy Reset. I've really enjoyed it, and it's been nice. Thanks for all your comments as well. That's made it feel more connected, more human. Nice to see a couple of familiar faces on there as well. And really just sending you vibes wherever you are. Take care, gang. Enjoy the ride.